that handy?
Yep. There it is.
That's the same area again. Been there before.
They've been there.
Can you, I saw something about a $400 fee, and then I saw something about 100 or 200, and some it gets returned. What do they actually pay to
400.
have this?
Oh, sorry. 400 is my fee, but that also includes the fire inspection fee. Or it's set up that way to be paid through me. 100, I believe is the electrical inspection. And I know there are other building permits, Councilman Burr, but I'm not exactly sure on the pricing, but I can find out and email you that.
I want to make sure everybody's covering their costs. Cause
And we are looking into that. We just had a meeting not that long ago, with police or fire chief, and we are looking and what the other
you got
communities are
U-Balls,
charging.
you got the fire department, you got the police department. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of money, and
Mhm.
I'm all for a private landowner doing what he wants with the property, but it just at minimum we should be covering our costs and not losing so that he can make a profit. And I mean, this is probably the longest running show in Taylor.
And I think
Good for him, but let's make sure that it's not costing us.
we'll take a look at it. I mean, you bring up a good point. There's a lot of other communities are charging as high as $1,000 for these same, comparable. So it's something that's definitely worth taking a look at. And at least at a minimal, I agree that we need to make sure that we're covering all of our costs.
I guess the question I have too is, I thought they did a great job at cleaning up, I will say that, because it's literally right almost across the street from me. Do we have some sort of, do they put a deposit down, like if they don't clean up properly, or,
I know they pay a special events fee, Tim, like $100, and you get a check back.
It says 200, 100 refundable to be returned upon site
Yeah.
cleanup.
Because I signed this
So
warrant.
if they don't and we clean it up, we're only getting
No, I will give them credit, I was impressed when they
Yeah,
left, it
that's
was
not
spotless.
Now, Councilman Woolley,
That was
this particular group does do a very good job
Yeah, I
all the
was
way
impressed.
around. There are some that come to us that aren't as good. though.
Right, yeah. So they're the ones that kind of went in there when they got ran out of Dearborn. That was the one in the Handy Andy parking lot, correct? Last year, that group?
This is the
No.
same group that,
Same group, not same location, though, correct?
Well, there was a group that went into the Handy Andy parking lot last year because they canceled the Dearborn. Remember, it was
came in
one.
last minute.
Yeah, last minute. I thought that,
Yes, it was the
that
same
group,
one.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, they did a very good job. I was impressed, to be honest with
Is it the same location though, Cindy? Is it,
They
okay?
found- Yeah, they came in very last
you.
minute.
Between Thrifty there and,
They were setting up and I had no knowledge.
Yeah, see, I thought it was a different location.
Right. I woke up every morning.
Wasn't there some talk, like last spring, after that incident at the Gibraltar Trade Center about not allowing carnivals other than maybe church carnivals?
There's been a lot of discussion. What they did at the Gibraltar Trade Center was, I believe they fenced it all in. And I think that's how they prevented, and I don't think we had, and maybe the chief can speak to this a little better, I don't think we had any other major events after they fenced it in, because they have their own security detail there. But yes, there's been a lot of dialogue about, I don't even know legally can you, restrict it just to church groups. I don't know the law, but we can look into it.
Well, and another thing, I don't see anything wrong with us making a little money off this.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of them do these as part of a charity, they'll donate some of the money to charity. I've got like 4 of them sitting on my desk right now, so I apologize, but I don't remember if this one site was donating anything.
I didn't see anything in any of the paperwork, and again, it's not that it has to, but I don't know that there is any local nonprofit that's benefiting from this.
Like when we hold our summer festival, we always have some portion of a split from the proceeds, and a lot of the local charitable groups are involved. I know like the Junior League World Series is involved. Some of the other local little leagues are involved. Some take a portion of the parking. The Junior League World Series historically was involved with some of the Vegas tent and that portion and the beer sales. So like they really should. I mean, it's easier to get behind, and if there's a charitable group that's part of it.
That'd be nice if somewhere down the road we could say, yeah, you can do this, but you have to allow this much space for a group to come in to sell whatever, you know, to make money for the group, as long as it's a tailor, you know, fish and loaves, or,
Sure.
you know.
I think something too that I'd maybe like to see, and I know you're strapped for time, but maybe go through, it seems like we are doing a lot of work for a little cost, and maybe if you get time, talk with the police chief and the fire chief and come up with an actual figure, and maybe we should look at raising that fee to where we're at least covering our costs, if not a little more.
Oh, yeah, the cleanup deposit thing, oh no, that'd be $2,000.
Yeah.
You get it back if it's clean.
Well, I'll tell you, that
You
group
know?
did, I'll vouch for them, that when they left, because I was over there looking, and it was spotless.
Well, is there a contract or more paperwork between this entity and the city, or do we have everything?
I mean, this is what I get. They could have something more that they give to the building department. But this
Well,
is,
Rick mentioned security. I'm just wondering if they are all contractually liable to do that, or, I mean, I don't live there, but the residents, you know, may be impacted, and is there any protection that we're providing our citizens through the contract that we sign when these entities want to come in and open events?
So as I understand, and let me preface it with, you know, I haven't been through too much of that because, you know, since taking office, we haven't had a lot of those spring discussions. So as I understand, they submit a kind of a carnival layout to the building department, and it goes through ARC, which the police department reviews it, the planning department reviews it, the fire department reviews it, and they all weigh in on it. And so at that point in time is when you can, you know, recommend or require, you know, fencing for security. But understand a lot of that stuff, you know, especially fencing, it's pretty expensive. Like the Gibraltar Trade Center, we don't know the details of that deal, but we suspected it was fairly lucrative because they did not want to lose that because they hold that like once a month for the entire summer. And they agreed to put fencing around the whole thing just to control it and make it safer. Can we require that in the future? We'll certainly look into it.
Yeah, I'm not making a specific recommendation. I'm just saying we should, you know,
Like
look
a
out
lot
for
of
our
them.
residents' best
Yeah,
interests.
I expressed my concerns with the last administration. Even during the cruise, they closed down Telegraph in Champaign, where I live, and I didn't even know they were doing that. And I remember in the
We're
past.
closing it this year too.
What's that?
We're closing it this year.
That's not good.
Well, you wanted to argue.
You
so-
know, yeah, absolutely. But, you know, back when they first started selling Christmas trees right there, we received a letter saying, hey, you know, if you have any problems with this, you know, please feel free to reach us at this number. But, you know, that wasn't a big deal, but when you got a carnival in your backyard or in your front yard and you close off the streets, I think
Yeah.
a little, you know.
You know, and like St. John's, for example, you know, they run a really good event. They don't, you know, they market it for the right group, and so, you know, it's kind of, yeah, and it always rains, yeah, but, so it's difficult, like, to suggest to them, put a fence up, because they're bordered by North Line and Telegraph, but some of the other ones, you know, you could certainly see where.
Well, this being a new one in that area, you
Yeah.
know, and then, like I said, you have residents right there, you know, St. John's, it's not as bad.
Yeah, you guys, it's right across the street from you.
generally the carnival companies, I had another one come to me, they wanted to do Southland, but she submitted after this and she wanted to go on the same weekends, and I told her no, only one per weekend for location, and she was throwing at me, we'll bring in our own security, and I'm like, no, you know, just that's our policy, it's not a written policy, but it's been our standard policy, one per weekend.
2 per weekend would be a lot on the police
Absolutely.
department.
Correct, that's what I
Absolutely.
explained
Yeah, I
to her.
agree
So
with the one.
if we called them and if we had any, you know, chief, they wanted any type of fencing, they would be more than willing, because they're usually pretty much willing to do whatever just to secure future dates in your city too. Because this probably won't be the only time they come at us this year for this location.
This stuff I've never had them before.
They usually
Yeah.
have Memorial Weekend. but
At
they
the,
want
at the Mervyn site on the, like where, kind of like across from Starbucks in that Mervyn's outlot parking on Eureka.
Yeah.
It's small.
The last 4 items are just solicitation requests.